Good morning, everyone. I think we will go ahead and get started. Thanks for taking time this morning to join up. My name's Stephen Johnson. I am the project lead for the Office 365 email migration for faculty and staff. Jesse, is my boss. He prepared these slides and has usually done these, but he's out of the office today, so he asked me to step in and do it for him. So you guys should have received an email last week from Jeff letting you know that you would be migrated to Office 365. I think he had a brief summary and included a link to some KB articles that we've written and posted, and that website is www.uab.edu/Office 365. You should find most of the information that we'll cover here briefly on that site as well. So we'll go ahead and get started. For those of you that joined within the last few minutes, I was going to let you know that I do have the audience muted. The chat function is available. We've got a couple of guys that will be watching that, so if you have questions, feel free to ask questions while I'm talking, and they should be able to respond and help. Once we get through the slides, if we have time, I can unmute the audience for those of you that are calling in that aren't joined via Skype, that can't see or access the chat function. So, all right, we will go ahead and get started. So just real quick, the benefits that we can go over for moving to Office 365 is the continuous improvements. Today, we run Exchange on-premise. We've got 18 servers here in Birmingham and then 3 in Huntsville for DR purposes. Those are all servers that we have to manage the patching on, the monthly security patching. We have to do service packs, Exchange versions, things of that nature. So going to Office 365, it benefits us and you guys. You're going to get the latest enhancements to the products, security enhancements, and other things like that, without being, interrupted. Today, when we go to roll out something, we have to spend a lot of time testing and a lot of scheduling and things like that. So that's going to be more seamless. You guys will never know when something gets changed like that, which is a huge win, I think. It's a cloud-based solution, so everything is housed in Microsoft data centers. It's spread out. I think they have 4 or 5 data centers in the continental U.S., so that data will be spread out across those. So you should experience fairly good uptime there. And then in addition to just email, you get a few other apps that they offer, OneDrive being one of them. Some of you may already be using it. It's online storage. I think you get 1 terabyte. You can save any kind of files there. You can actually click to it through your email, which is nice. There's a button when you're in the webmail that allows you to go straight to your OneDrive. And you can also connect your desktop to it and use it as your kind of My Documents type location as well. Planner is something that we use every day in our group that some of you might find useful. It's kind of like a Kanban board. It allows you to create a board and then set tasks and then assign those tasks to certain people and keep up with them for planning and scheduling and things like that. Sway is there. The Office Products Online, which this is not, he has a note here, this is no change in desktop clients. That's true. So this allows you to, if you're on the go and on a machine that doesn't have the Office products installed, it allows you to edit and view Word, Excel, and things like that. So that's pretty useful as well. So we did an IT pilot early on with all of UAB IT. I think it was just over 200 users. And some of the issues we encountered here were login failures with mobile devices, and he's got in parentheses, use Blazor ID at uab.edu. So what had happened is older connections and older devices were configured to use UAB/username when they were set up. Office 365 relies on what we call a user principal name, which is the email address. So, for example, would be Blazor ID at uab.edu. All of that can be found in on the web page, the link that Jeff provided. Ask IT is aware of these issues as well as desktop services, so they should be able to take care of any issue you have in regards to any of these that we've already encountered. Email service performance. So I know in the past, desktop services has recommended that you not use cache mode, but you're connecting now, or you will be connecting to your email across the internet. So it is recommended that you use cache mode, so you keep a local copy. Um, it doesn't really improve your performance um, in a technical sense, but it does. Having that local copy allows you to click through between folders and other messages without seeing that 5-10 second delay that you could potentially see when you're connected in an online mode. Um, Logins required when Outlook's restarted. That is mitigated by having the latest version of Outlook. So if you're using Outlook 2016, you should not see that issue, and I believe Desktop is working to make sure everyone's updated. In the email stuck in Outbox within Outlook, we had some instances where people thought everything was okay. They were receiving mail, they could see their mail, but they would send an email and it was stuck in their Outbox. We opened multiple cases with Microsoft, and they determined that it was just cases where profiles were corrupted, and rebuilding the Outlook profile resolved that issue. Um, so we've also, since the pilot, we've made improvements to our migration. We've added additional servers that do nothing but migrate mail. So there's standalone Exchange servers that the only purpose they serve is to facilitate migrations. We've gone through and made significant improvements to our communication plan, the communications that we send out. So you'll get notified when when the migration begins, the duration. If it goes over 4 hours, you'll get a notice via status cast, and then we'll email you guys directly when your migration is complete. And then there's the detailed issue remediation guidance, and all that again is found. The majority of those issues that are called out, we have KBs that are posted on the website that Jeff mentioned in his email and I mentioned earlier, but it's www.uab.edu/office365. So for your migration expectations, before migration, stop any external forwarding of Blazor ID at uab.edu. So I think with this batch, we didn't find anybody that was forwarding in the phone book outside of Campus Exchange, so that's really a non-issue for this group. Upgrade to Outlook 2016 if needed. Again, I believe Desktop Services has been working with you guys. If they haven't gotten to you yet, I would expect them to be reaching out soon to make sure that you're running Outlook 2016. Use cache mode. Again, it's not going to be a great experience if you're in online connected mode. You have to keep in mind that you're constantly making a connection across the internet from campus to a data center, and you will see delays when reading emails, clicking between folders and things like that. So we do recommend going into cache mode. Now that we should also note too, once you go into cache mode, if you weren't previously into cache mode, that's going to build a local copy. So you will see what looks like a little bit of a performance hit initially while it's building that, what we call an OST file, which is a local copy of your mailbox. But once that file is built, you won't see anything as that appears to be a delay. Confirm or set all logins to format Blazor ID at uab.edu. Again, that's what we're recommending for your mobile devices. So you just check through your settings if you're not familiar with that. If Desktop help you set up, or Ask IT, or Ed Ramsey, or anybody like that, they should be able to help you if you have questions. We just want to make sure that you're using Blazor ID at uab.edu. And I apologize, this slide needs to be updated. Your migration is the 17th. So on Friday when you leave, if at all possible, close your Outlook. Just to ensure the transition is as smooth as possible. If you do leave your Outlook open, you'll have a message when you come in on Monday saying your administrator made a change, and it'll require you to close and reopen Outlook. So during and after the migration, um, during the migration, you can check status.uab.edu. We're going to put out updates every 4 hours that details the number of users remaining, um, to kind of keep the whole entire wave. Again, this wave is made up of 3 or 4 departments, um, and there's not a particular set order, right? You've got mailboxes that are going to finish a lot faster than others, depending on the overall size and the total item count in a mailbox. So we will be posting updates every 4 hours on the status page. And again, so when your migration completes, be sure you can send and receive email, and that your email is not stuck in the outbox. If you have problems, contact Ask IT. You can email them or give them a call. The phone number is listed there. The middle of next week, we'll send out a survey asking you to go through and kind of rate your experience, and that's very valuable to us. We found that with a previous group, they didn't necessarily open a lot of trouble tickets with Ask IT like we would prefer, but when we sent out the survey, they called out certain issues that they did encounter. So we do review those results, and we will open cases or incidents and contact you if you do have issues. But we would prefer you to go through Ask IT. And then after your migration, you can access your webmail at mail.uab.edu. In the support resources, we've got this website that I've mentioned several times. That's going to have status information, all the facts that you'll need, every issue that we've encountered, plus just basic client configuration for Outlook, other things like that. We have facts there. We also have some videos called out here under detailed guidance. They're very short and to the point. They'll allow you to kind of watch a click through on addressing or setting up some of these clients. Those instructions are printable. And other resources, you've got the status page, which I've mentioned, which is really useful. You can go out to the status.uab.edu page and subscribe to the incident that's been put out for Wave 2, and then that way you'll get emailed as updates are posted. And then again, Ask IT, they're going to be your first point of contact for any issues or questions you have after the migration. Question and answers. I haven't been able to see the chat window. I hear the notifications going off, so I do hope that you guys are asking questions and that our guys are answering them. I'm going to unmute this, so this could be chaos. We're going to try to do this to unmute you guys and take a few questions. We didn't do this last time, but our group was a lot smaller, so all right. So you guys are unmuted.
Hi, I have a question about the meeting.
Yes.
I was not able to access it through Skype, so cannot see any slides you have.
Okay.
Is this recorded in any format of a go-to type meeting format that I could refer to afterwards?
Absolutely. We are recording it. I can send you the slides. And again, if you go to the website that was mentioned, uab.edu/Office365, that's going to cover all the information actually more information than what we covered in the slideshow. But we are recording this, and we can make that available to you.
Sure, that would be terrific. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And what was your name?
It's Deirdre1@uab.edu.
Okay. We'll
Want me to spell it?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
DEIRDRE, then the number 1@uab.edu.
Perfect. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
No problem.
This is Andy Matthews. Can you do the same for me?
Andy Matthew. What's your Blazer ID?
It's A as in Apple, H, Matthews, with one T, at uab.edu.
Okay. Just to make this easier, you guys, if you want to, just reply to the email that I sent on the meeting request if you'd like. For everybody else that would like to have this, and we'll get this sent out rather than me having to write down a bunch of email addresses right now. But if y'all could just email me, I'm Stephen with a V, J at uab.edu. We'll get the information. If you have follow-up questions, we'll answer them as well.
Thank you.
Okay, and Stephen, this is Yolanda Jones. I did have a question. Because it's going to be a cloud-based app, or how does that affect us if the system goes down? So, like, recently Amazon shut down, and people couldn't access a lot of stuff. We do a lot of work via email. How will that affect us?
Well, that's going to be, unfortunately, a similar type scenario, right? But the uptime's really good with Office 365. There hasn't been a complete outage. But that is a risk with a cloud service. But like I said, their data centers are spread out across 4 or 5 data centers, so all this mail can be moved. So I imagine if there were an outage that affected one data center, it would just fail over, similar to what we would do here on premises. We have our servers in a failover cluster type environment. So if one server were to get affected and go down, we could move all of the databases and activate them on another server. So you would see just a few minute disruption in access.
Okay.
Stephen, there was a question also from Katie Bird saying that her boss is leaving the office on 3/17 and needs access to email during migration, and will she able to access her email during migration?
Yes. Yeah, so you're up until the point of the completion, your mailbox is available. And then once your mailbox migration completes, it's just a few seconds or maybe a minute where that cutover happens, and you won't even know that you were moved unless you've got your Outlook client open. And then again, that prompt would pop up saying your administrator has made a change. Please close and reopen Outlook. So yeah, you'll have access to your email during the migration.
Stephen, this is Bill Summerall. It seems like I remember reading something on our mobile devices. We would no longer use mail.uab.edu or AD, that we would use something else in our server identification. Is that true?
Yes. So, and that's that. There's a KB article listed or posted in uab.edu/Office 365 that shows you the configuration. Most devices you won't have to make any kind of change. So it just depends, and there's no way for us to really know prior who's going to have to make a change. I know when we did our IT pilot migration, we had out of 200 something people, it was less than 2% that actually had to do any kind of manual intervention on their mobile devices.
Okay.
So if that does happen, it's I mentioned during the slideshow, a lot of legacy devices or legacy configuration would have you use UAB/ then your username and your configuration. You want to make sure that it's set to Blazer ID at uab.edu rather than domain/username.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Stephen. This is Ginger Hadaway from Dentistry.
Yes, ma'am.
When it migrates over, are archived folders going to migrate over as well? And is it going to look different from the way it looks now and the way everything is organized?
No. So well, yes and no. Your archive will move. Your folder structure will stay the same, so it will not look different at all. You'll still have in your left folder pane in Outlook, you'll still see your name and then online archive. That archive folder is going to move. All the folders will still be there in the same folder structure.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll add one thing to that. If you have local PSTs that you've created throughout the years, those will still stay local. And then after the migration, you're welcome to move those up into the cloud.
Yes, and I would say that desktop support and our data security group here on campus would probably strongly encourage you to move your PSTs into your mailbox once you're migrated, rather than keeping local copies. All right, anyone else? Well, all right. I appreciate your time this morning. If you guys have any questions you think of later, you can email me. It might be best to contact Ask IT as well, just for these or desktop support, your desktop support guy, and we can all team together and make sure that you guys get the questions you have answered and get the information you're looking for. So overall, I think we expect this to be pretty painless. We just finished up the HR migration. It appears to have gone well, so we don't expect any issues with this group, guys. So, but we are available if anything happens.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. If there's no more questions, we're going to go ahead and end this call.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.